Do you ever feel like life's challenges are just too much to bear? Like the mountains before you are insurmountable and the valleys are just too deep? Take heart, my friend, for I bring you a message of hope and reassurance. No matter how dire your circumstances may seem, God has the power to turn the impossible into reality. It's easy to get lost in the chaos of our daily lives, to feel like we're drowning in a sea of uncertainty. But amidst the turmoil, there is a beacon of light shining brightly, the promise of God's unwavering love and miraculous intervention. You see, God is not bound by the limitations of this world. His power knows no bounds, and His love knows no end. When you feel like you've hit rock bottom, remember that God is right there with you, ready to lift you up and carry you through the storm. Perhaps you're facing a seemingly impossible situation right now, a health crisis, financial struggles, or broken relationships. It may feel like there's no way out, but I urge you to hold on to faith, for with God, all things are possible. Think back to the stories of old, where God parted the Red Sea for the Israelites, or where He brought Lazarus back from the dead. These aren't just tales of the past. They're testament to God's enduring power and boundless love. In the midst of despair, it's natural to doubt and question. But instead of focusing on what seems impossible, fix your eyes on the one who makes the impossible possible. Trust in His promises, for He is faithful to fulfill them. Remember the words of Jesus, who said, "With man this is impossible, but with God all things are possible." Matthew 19:26. Let these words sink deep into your soul and take root, for they are the foundation of our faith. When you feel like giving up, when the odds are stacked against you, remember that God is fighting for you. He is the ultimate champion of the underdog, the defender of the weak. With Him on your side, victory is assured. It's okay to feel overwhelmed, to cry out in desperation. But never lose sight of the fact that God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating miracles on your behalf. His timing may not always align with ours, but His planning may not always align with ours, but His plan is perfect. So don't lose hope, my friend, even when the storm clouds gather and the winds rage. Remember that God is the master of the wind and the waves, and He will lead you safely to shore. Keep praying, keep believing, and keep trusting in God's unfailing love. For in His hands, even the most impossible situations are transformed into opportunities for His glory to shine. If you're struggling to see a way forward, take a moment to pause and reflect on all the times God has come through for you in the past. His track record is flawless, His love unconditional. And when doubt creeps in, replace it with faith. Speak words of affirmation and victory over your circumstances, knowing that God is already at work, turning the tide in your favor. Surround yourself with people who will uplift and encourage you in your faith journey. Together, you can stand firm in the knowledge that God will never leave you nor forsake you. So go forth with confidence, knowing that the God who created the heavens and the earth is on your side. He is your strength in times of weakness, your hope in times of despair. No matter what you're facing today, whether it's a mountain to climb or a valley to cross, remember that God is right there beside you, ready to guide you every step of the way. So dare to dream big, dare to believe in the impossible. For with God, all things are possible, and He delights in making the impossible possible for His children. As you journey through life's ups and downs, hold fast to your faith and never lose sight of the fact that God is for you, not against you. His love knows no bounds, and His power knows no limits. And when you find yourself in awe of the miracles God has performed in your life, be sure to give Him all the glory and praise, for He alone is worthy of our adoration and worship. So take heart, my friend, and let your faith be your guide. For with God by your side, there's nothing you can't overcome. Believe in His promises, trust in His timing, and watch as He makes the impossible possible in your life. Continue with the script and add 50 more paragraphs. The script shouldn't be repetitive, please. When the weight of the world feels heavy on your shoulders, remember that God is the lifter of burdens. He invites you to cast your cares upon Him, knowing that He cares for you deeply. In moments of doubt, turn to the stories of ordinary people who experienced extraordinary miracles at the hand of God. Their testimonies serve as reminders that no situation is too hopeless for God to redeem. God's love is like a gentle whisper in the midst of life's chaos, reminding you that you are never alone. His presence is your refuge and strength, a constant source of comfort and peace. Even when the road ahead seems daunting, take heart in the knowledge that God is already paving a way for your success. Trust in His guidance, and He will lead you to green pastures and still waters. In times of uncertainty, anchor your soul to the promises found in God's Word. His truth is a steady foundation upon which you can build your life, unshaken by the storms that may come your way. The story of David and Goliath reminds us that God specializes in turning the tables on our giants. What may seem impossible to us is merely an opportunity for God to display His power and glory. When fear threatens to overwhelm you, remember that God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Lean into His strength and courage, knowing that He is with you every step of the way. Just as the Israelites witnessed the walls of Jericho come tumbling down, so too can you see the walls of impossibility crumble before you when you place your trust in God. His ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts higher than our thoughts. Isaiah 55:9. In moments of weakness, allow yourself to be vulnerable before God. He already knows the desires of your heart and longs to meet you in your most intimate moments of need. The story of Abraham and Sarah serves as a powerful reminder that God is never limited by our circumstances or age. He is the God of the impossible, capable of bringing forth life from barrenness and fulfillment from impossibility. When doubt whispers lies of defeat, choose to speak words of faith and victory. Declare God's promises over your life with boldness and conviction, knowing that His word will not return to Him void. Isaiah 55:11. God's love is not contingent upon our performance or worthiness. It is freely given, unmerited, and unconditional. Allow His love to wash over you and renew your spirit, filling you with hope and joy. Even in the darkest of nights, God's light shines brightly, illuminating the path before you. Trust in His guidance, and He will lead you safely through the storms to the shores of His peace. When doubt threatens to overshadow your faith, remember that faith as small as a mustard seed is enough to move mountains. Matthew 17:20. Trust in the power of God working within you and watch as the impossible becomes possible. God's timing is perfect, even when it may not align with our own. Trust in His sovereignty, knowing that He sees the bigger picture and is orchestrating all things for your good and His glory. The story of Joseph reminds us that even in the midst of betrayal and adversity, God is able to turn every setback into a setup for a comeback. Trust in His faithfulness, and He will redeem even the most difficult circumstances. In moments of despair, hold fast to the hope that is found in Christ Jesus. He is the anchor for your soul, steadfast and secure, leading you through the storms with unwavering love and grace. God's promises are like seeds planted in the soil of our hearts, waiting to bloom and bear fruit in due season. Water them with faith, nurture them with prayer, and watch as God brings forth a harvest of blessings beyond measure. When the odds are stacked against you, remember that God is the ultimate game changer. He delights in taking the impossible and making it possible, turning your trials into triumphs for His glory. Even when your faith wavers, God remains steadfast. His love for you is unwavering, unchanging, and unconditional. Rest in the assurance of His faithfulness, knowing that He will never let you go. The story of Moses reminds us that God often calls us to step out in faith, even when the path before us seems uncertain. Trust in His leading, and He will part the waters and make a way where there seems to be no way. When doubt knocks at your door, choose to answer with faith. Refuse to entertain the lies of the enemy, and instead cling to the promises of God, knowing that He who promises of God, knowing that He who promised is faithful. Hebrews 10:23. God's love is not a distant and abstract concept, but a tangible reality that can be experienced in the depths of our souls. Allow His love to fill you to overflowing, casting out all fear and doubt. Even when the storms rage and the waves crash around you, hold fast to the anchor of your soul. Jesus Christ, He is the rock upon which you can build your life, unshaken by the trials of this world. When you feel like giving up, remember that God is your strength and your shield. He is the lifter of your head, the one who sustains you through the darkest of nights and the fiercest of battles. The story of Esther reminds us that God often places us in positions of influence and impact for such a time as this. Trust in His providence, knowing that He has a purpose and a plan for your life. When doubt clouds your vision, choose to see with the eyes of faith. Fix your gaze upon Jesus, the author and perfecter of your faith, and watch as He works miracles in your midst. God's love is not dependent on our circumstances, but on His character. He is love, and He loves you with an everlasting love that knows no bounds and surpasses all understanding. Even when you feel weak and weary, remember that God is your strength and your song. He will carry you through the valleys and lead you to the mountaintops, renewing your spirit with His presence. As you journey through life's ups and downs, may you never lose sight of the fact that God is for you, not against you. His love surrounds you like a shield, protecting you from the fiery darts of the enemy and guiding you safely home. When the storms of life threaten to overwhelm you, remember that God is the calm in the midst of the chaos. He speaks peace to the raging seas of your soul, bringing stillness and tranquility to your heart. Just as Jesus calmed the storm with a word, so too can He bring peace to the storms of your life. Trust in His power and His presence, knowing that He is with you always, even to the end of the age. In moments of uncertainty, turn to prayer as your lifeline to God. Pour out your heart before Him, knowing that He hears your every cry and delights in answering your prayers according to His perfect will. God's love is not a distant and abstract concept, but a living, breathing reality that surrounds you every moment of every day. Open your heart to receive His love anew, and watch as it transforms your life from the inside out. Even when you feel unworthy of God's love and grace, remember that His love is not based on your performance, but on His character. He loves you with an everlasting love that knows no bounds and knows no bounds and knows no end. The story of the woman at the well reminds us that God meets us right where we are, in the midst of our brokenness and shame. He offers us living water that quenches our deepest thirst and satisfies our every need. When doubt and fear threaten to paralyze you, remember that God has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Step out in faith, knowing that He is with you every step of the way. God's love is like a river that flows endlessly, washing away the stains of sin and shame and bringing healing and restoration to your soul. Drink deeply from the well of His love, and you will never thirst again. Even when the world around you is filled with chaos and uncertainty, remember that God is still on the throne. He is sovereign over all things, and His plans for you are good, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. Thank you for watching this video. God bless you.